not taking no for an answer. I'm a lover, my friend, is not sure.
Today on One, your daily dose of local affairs and social media commentary. Today on One, I don't have anger issues, says Swartboy. Perpetuation of rape culture a concern. City Police launches electronic public transport registration system. And persons with disability encouraged to practice their rights.
The Landless People's Movement LPM leadership at a recent press conference
is to generate through newspapers such as the Informante the principle of disrespect and have labeled the National Assembly the house of disrespect through an article written by Chris Jacobi. Of course, that Chris Jacobi himself today must speak of the National Assembly as the house of disrespect, given his history, is quite interesting. I want to say this to our supporters and sympathizers who from time to time become sensitive and perhaps a little bit worried about what they perceive as part of the propaganda machinery as LPM becoming wayward. Those that have obtained the votes, the trust of the people of this country, that have therefore enriched themselves through positions of responsibility and have enriched their families throughout the past 30 years, are the ultimate individuals and the political party SWAPO that disrespect the people of this country.
Swartboy added that respect is something that is earned and that the ruling party should not expect it to be given freely by the Namibian nation.
Who has taken an oath to respect SWAPO party? I have not taken an oath to respect SWAPO party and its officials in parliament. Never. There's nothing in the oath that I hereby pledge to respect SWAPO party and its ministers. There's nothing. Nothing. Yes, of course, in terms of human interaction, you want basic decency. And indeed, that basic decency we have exercised. We have been commending the Prime Minister. We have even given the President commentary on the last part of his State of the Nation. We have even, in the State of the Nation, taken the podium to say that we don't hate the President. We pray for the President. Where was Chris Jacobi? But you can see the class alliance, the Trasco alliance with the ruling elite is at work. And we have said it in our statement. The elite and the class alliance with capital is one society. The other society is the working class, the urban disenfranchised, the disempowered, the excluded structurally from the economy. Those two societies exist. So they push this thing of disrespect, but we also know that Informante has been anti-LPM. There was a funeral recently in Handys Bay that was attended by 3-4 governors of SWAPO, CROs of SWAPO, CEOs of SWAPO, but Informante takes a picture of leader Ivan Schryver, puts him in the newspaper and says he didn't observe social distancing. It was his funeral. He has broken the laws and the regulations and tried to portray this as an LPM event. But it's a funeral for SWAPO councillor also. The SWAPOs themselves were angry. Someone inside Informante said, leave it for now, we'll see how it goes. We have to call Desmond, what is his name? Basson. What is it? Neville Basson. We have to call him and say, what is it that you are now saying, Neville? Your newspaper has again written nonsense about LPM pushing their political agenda. Respect from whom? Who defines respect? Who defines it? Is it the elite that must define what respect looks like? They have stolen from the people. Is that not disrespect?
In conclusion, Swartboy admitted that his recent showdown with the Labour Minister Tony Nyoma went a little overboard and that certain things were not supposed to be said in the August House.
Make sure you catch It's a Wrap in our new time slot, now on Sundays from 7:30, with repeats on Tuesday nights at 8:30.
Namibians are being cautioned against encouraging a rape culture and urged to check their attitudes towards rape in the country, a very common form of sexual abuse that has been a concern for years for many. The First Lady at a recent event called on Namibians to evaluate their attitudes towards rape, as they have at some point contributed to the rape culture in the country. She adds that many are not aware as to what constitutes as rape, leading to many falling victim to the act.
Not holding people accountable causes them to repeat this offense. It's possible that there are many first-time rapists, but my suspicion is that there's a lot more men walking around free who've never been charged, who've perpetrated rape, and because they've gotten away with it once, they do it again. And there's a lot of us who've perpetuated rape by keeping quiet, and it's not necessarily happened to us, but we've been part of the silencing by saying, but this story doesn't check out. Why did you go to his flat? You kind of always think that rape is a violent act where this person said a clear no and where there's penetration involved. And it must be genitals involved, and it's not. So let's run a couple of scenarios. If I'm a boss and I want to sleep with a younger girl and because she wants a promotion and she sleeps with me, is that rape or not? It's rape, guys. If I agree to have sex with you, we even go to your house or in your car or whatever, I agreed, I consented. But as things are getting very hot and the action is about to happen, I decide I've changed my mind. And you continue. Is that rape or not? It's rape. Now I've changed my mind. Things are standing straight up and things have to happen. So I kind of say, look, you now put me in this position. Why don't you just masturbate me? And I kind of force you. What is that? It's rape. If you force me to masturbate you, that is rape. If I consent, I go to your room, and then I realize there's a camera, or 3 of your friends are in the room, and you want to continue. Is that rape? It's rape. Because the presence of parties, even though they're not participating, invalidates my consent. And I can withdraw my consent at any time. If you say to me, say now you're my husband, and you say to me, if you don't give me sex now, I'm going to harm your daughter. Is that rape? But I consented. It's coercion.
The First Lady further added that there are many unreported and outstanding cases of rape that have not been successfully prosecuted due to delays.
The challenge we create here is that in this country, whatever our rape statistics are, you can comfortably double, if not triple them, because of cases that have not been reported or that haven't found successful prosecution, because often rapes happen between 2 people and only they are there. So I want to appeal to each of you to investigate and analyze our attitudes about rape, male and female, because women are also often guilty about perpetuating a rape culture. Another thing that we make jokes about a lot, there's a direct link between disrespectful attitudes about women and rape. Why? Because the moment you allow the dehumanization of anybody, great evil happens. So if you allow women to be spoken of in a certain way, you don't believe she's capable of having the right to say no to you. Go and look at the Combating of Rape Act, get that definition, understand that definition, and apply it not only for yourself, but for your loved ones. If somebody in your family speaks of a rape and there's a form of silencing, and again, I'll talk frankly, I don't think in any of our families we haven't heard a whisper that something went wrong in that other house. And it was never reported to the police, it was resolved as a family. All of us have experienced that. But the danger we create, that uncle, and we resolve this as a family, never stops with that child. They do it to somebody else because they were never held accountable.
At a sensitization training for teachers, it was revealed that 80% of sexual abuse often occurs within households where relatives are usually the perpetrators.
Accommodation is the ability of the eye to focus on distant and near objects.
And I bring it in contact with the electroscope. What you must keep in mind is positive charge can't move. It is the negative charge that moves.
So the first one, EF, is then going to be 0 minus negative 2 over 4 minus negative 4. Look at my signs. If you go wrong there, if you don't substitute in brackets, you're definitely going to get wrong answers.
Windhoek City Police recently launched an electronic public transport motor vehicle registration system which will allow public transport vehicle owners to register for certificates, also known as the blue paper, in terms of municipal bylaws. This includes all operators in the public transport industry in the city. Public Relations Officer at the Windhoek City Police is calling for new and old public transport motor vehicle owners that are operating within the city of Windhoek to register on the recently launched electronic public transport motor vehicle registration system.
The Windhoek City Police has automated its public motor vehicle registration process, and therefore we're calling upon all public motor vehicle owners who transport goods or passengers for hire or reward within the city of Windhoek to come to our office to register and also to be updated on the new system. Yes. Any person, be it a legal person or a natural person, is actually required in terms of the municipal bylaws to be awarded with a certificate if you are operating within the city of Windhoek. That's if you transport goods or passengers for hire or for reward. So you should be issued with that public transport certificate. This certificate is actually a permit that allows you to transport passengers or goods for hire or reward within the city of Windhoek. So if any transport out there is doing this without this certificate, then it's illegally doing it, which is not permitted. Previously, we've been operating manually. However, now with this new system, we want to update all the new information. If you are a permit holder, which is still valid, it's okay. you can continue operating, and then thereafter 6 months, when your permit has expired, you must come and then update so that we can have new information on our system. The owner who wish to apply for this certificate must come to the city police office in person, and also accompanied by the driver if you are not the one that's going to drive yourself.
According to Silik Apollo, operators can get their permits in no time, while the system will also prevent pirate taxis from entering public road. She also confirmed that the permits can be revoked if owners that have been issued with a certificate engage themselves in illegal activities.
The process is faster, it's efficient, and it's also rooting out all the inconsistencies. Because in the past we used to have duplication of numbers that the system couldn't pick up. So in this case, the system can pick up all these inconsistencies. There's no duplication of numbers. And then the driver, we can not have one driver registered for 2-3 vehicles, one driver per vehicles. So if you're no longer going to operate with the other vehicles, then the system will definitely, root you out. And if you have outstanding traffic fine, the system will definitely reject. It's kind of also preventing illegal taxis. In an event where your vehicle, the driver is found unfit. And when you're talking about unfit condition, we're talking about where a vehicle is involved in a criminal offense, such as a housebreaking or robbery, then the certificate can be revoked, or it might not be issued with a certificate. And in a case where you're permitting a driver who's not duly registered to operate that vehicle, your certificate can be revoked.
Upon registration, public transport vehicle owners must have valid original identification documents as well as a valid professional authorization issued by the Ministry of Works and Transport.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of 700 Club Nigeria. Today on 700 Club Nigeria, a woman encounters inexplicable pain after the delivery of her baby. An interesting chat with the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria. Plus, we learn about the power within our spoken words.
My children in the land of the living, help me sing. As for me, and my house, we will serve.
The Ministry of Disability Affairs recently launched the 4th Disability Council Board. The board, which was inaugurated by the Minister of Gender and Child Welfare, will focus on ensuring that persons with disabilities benefit the same as ordinary citizens. Because physically challenged persons experience a variety of challenges and are often left out, the Ministry of Disability Affairs carefully selected 13 board members tasked to meet the national and international agenda, which is ensuring that physically challenged persons benefit the same as those that are abled.
Persons with disability face their struggle with accessibility, as I have said, inclusion in every nation of the world. The combination of ignorance, discrimination, exclusion, and inaccessible environment result in people with disability facing enormous barriers to obtain equitable services and opportunities.
Other challenges faced by the Disability Council are a lack of sufficiently skilled workforce as well as inadequate funding.
The main challenges faced by the National Disability Council are the inadequate funding. For example, the 4 million appropriated to the Council during the last financial year. From the above stems a critical lack of sufficient skilled manpower being experienced at the Council.
Human rights and social justice are fundamental principles guaranteed by the Constitution. Without these two principles, becoming an inclusive society will remain a pipe dream. These were the sentiments of the Gender and Child Welfare Minister Doreen Siyoka. The National Disability Council of Namibia exists under the Disability Council Act 26 of 2004, whose main objective is to monitor the implementation of the national policy on disability.
Hello and welcome to Sport Africa. The BBC's new weekly show will explore the big sporting issues and questions, like why Africans aren't winning medals in the pool.
I just think it's their mindset.
Meeting established and rising stars.
I could be the Nigerian first Grand Slam winner.
And at the heart of it will be you, the fans, with your passion, your opinions, your stories, and even tests of your sporting knowledge. Go beyond the game with BBC Sport Africa.
In other leading stories, the F&B House Price Index posted a contraction of 5.9% year-on-year at the end of March 2020 compared to a contraction of 1.5% recorded over the same period of 2019. Franz Usiku, F&B market researcher, says this brought the average national house price to a 5-year record low of just over 1 million Namibia dollars. According to Usiku, house price contractions in the northern and southern regions were observed in the small housing segment, while the small and medium housing segments were responsible for price growth in the central and coastal regions. Adding that the outlook for property prices looks bleak from a market perspective as widespread job losses and income uncertainty induced by COVID-19 do not bode well for demand. He further noted that the notable improvement in land delivery for housing is poised to keep residential property prices at bay as potential new house owners seize a penetrative market opportunity through purchasing of land. And Woolworths has announced that it will be donating 2.8 million Namibia dollars worth of brand new surplus stock to help families in need. In an ongoing effort to address societal challenges within the communities it operates, Woolworths has partnered with Co-Feed Namibia to provide clothing items to families and individuals who are struggling to make ends meet. Yabi Mvula, Woolworths Regional Head of Africa, said that the company distributes and donates surplus food from its stores to more than 1,000 charities throughout the year. Woolworths is committed to supporting the collection and distribution of surplus clothing to charity and continues to integrate long-term sustainability into policy and plans in a bid to reduce the amount of clothing and waste ending up in landfills.
Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of local comments from the hottest social media pages. While David said the unionists now seems to be on the side of the employer. And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today and One.
Akili, 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 akili. We love to wash our hands, and this is how we do it. Wash, wash with clean water. Scrub, scrub, scrub with soap. Rinse, rinse with clean water, and then the germs will go. We love to wash our hands, and this is how we do it. Wash, wash with clean water. Scrub, scrub, scrub with soap. Rinse, rinse with clean water, and then the germs will go. Yay!
Well done, Soap and Water! You got rid of all the germs on Achilles' hands!
A look at the weather forecast. First, an advisory from the Windhoek Met Office. Showers and thunder showers are expected in the south. Very cold to cold conditions are expected in the south, Khomas and Omaheke regions. Frost is expected in places in the south and central regions. The Namibia interior sunny and hot in the extreme northeast. Elsewhere partly cloudy and cold to warm, but very cold to cold in the south with frost in places. The coast cloudy and cold with showers over the southern coast and the wind moderate to fresh northwesterly.